Why did you come back?
I stood in the home I was born in that moment.
Hell Is Us is officially dropping on September 4, and after the latest state of play reveal, this one's shaping up to be something truly special. Nacon and Rogue Factor aren't really holding your hands with the quest markers or map indicators this time. The game is just pure discovery. So if you've ever wanted to explore a war-torn, which is happening here, completely on your own terms, this might be the adventure you've been waiting for all along. See, in Hell Is Us, you step into the shoes of a man searching for his past in a country ravaged by civil war and supernatural horrors, and gameplay-wise it's just a breath of fresh air in the old action-adventure genre.
Last winter, we were up on Farewell Ridge. We're watching the freaks. Thousands of them, I mean, too many to count. All I could think was every one of us, man, woman, and child, are now homeless.
Days Gone Remastered is making its move to the PlayStation 5 on April 25th this year, and it's shaping up to be the definitive way to experience Deacon St. John's journey. I don't know, whether you're revisiting the game or diving in for the first time, this version packs graphical upgrades and new modes and extra content that make it more than just a simple remaster. There is a new mode, larger hordes, smarter enemies, and basically a challenge that's just constantly ramping up. And if that's not intense enough, Permadeath mode is here to test your survival skills, plus the PlayStation 5 enhancements bring sharper visuals, DualSense haptic feedback, and a smoother frame rate, making everything more immersive.
The desert wants you dead, off-worlder.
With that being said, Dune Awakening is finally on the horizon with a confirmed May 20th release date. And if you've been waiting to just step into this brutal, sand-swept world of Arrakis, the countdown has officially begun. And the best part is you don't have to wait to get started, the character creator is live right now. You begin as a prisoner in this open-world survival mix of a game, thrown into the desert to unravel the mystery of the missing Fremen. Your choices will shape the destiny, meaning you will have to rise through the ranks, align with either faction to make a mark in the history. So if you missed it, developers just released a new trailer for it too.
Rule this planet. But Arrakis is yours to explore. To fight for. To conquer. But there are forces beyond even your control. Master Arrakis, and it will open your mind. This is your path to awakening.
Announced no more than 24 hours ago, number 4, we've got Dreadzone, which is not just another survival game, it's actually a long test of endurance where the world is just out to break you. Picture this, it's the year 2030 and a devastating virus has turned the world into a wasteland. You're infected, abandoned in a quarantine zone where everything, wild animals, mutants, desperate survivors, all want you dead. Every choice matters, every encounter could be your last, and the question isn't just how you'll survive, but who you'll become in the process. Among Us 3D is coming too, and honestly, it might be the best version yet. Think of it as the ultimate fusion classic, Among Us mixed with VR elements, but playable on PC without needing a headset. And guess what? You can try it for free during Steam's next fest from basically today to March 3rd. And you see, the jump to first person makes the tasks feel more immersive, the betrayals will hit harder, and the native proximity voice chat means you can actually hear your friends panic in real time. Plus, crossplay with VR players keep things really interesting, if it doesn't connect to the audio.
I saw him! You saw him?
Moving on to number 6, we've got Deadly Quiet. Well, first of all, have you ever heard about Hoyabachu? That's Transylvania's most haunted forest, and in this game, you and your friends made the brilliant decision to camp here. What makes Deadly Quiet stand out isn't the horrifying antlered creatures that's haunting you here, it's how they hunt you. Sound is your worst enemy here. You step under the wrong twig, they hear you. Breath too loud into your microphone, they hear you as well. It's basically a self-horror nightmare, but with a twist. Everything plays out from a grainy body cam perspective, which really adds to the realism. Coming up behind that at number 7, we have the Bornless, and this one's really got potential. Imagine a high-stakes extraction shooter where survival isn't just about gunning down the enemies, but also dodging literal demons and playing mind games with other squads. Yeah, that is what we're looking at here. So the whole deal is you start in a creepy, isolated cabin with your partner, scavenge for supplies, and then things get weird. You've got to perform rituals to summon supernatural forces. Except the second you do, everyone knows where you are. It's part PvP, part horror survival, and honestly, if they nail the pacing, this could be a sleeper hit.
You've been waiting 4 long years. Intergalactic wars, thousands of hours of cutscenes, over 11,000 pages of dialogue.
Breathedge 2 is back as well, and with more survival madness. See, Hype Train Digital has announced that the first demo will drop during today's Steam Fest until March 3rd. And if you haven't checked it out, the series it's basically all about navigating ridiculous intergalactic issues with a dash of humor. This time, you're actually trying to take down the Breathedge Corporation while managing your spaceship, upgrading it, and dealing with a quirky crew who have their own goals. There is a distinct star system to explore, lots of unique enemies and vehicles that sound pretty satisfying, as you will see, and well, survival's never been this absurd.
Did you forget what happened on that night?
Liminal Point is actually an indie game inspired by Silent Hill, Resident Evil, and even Signalis. And if I'm being honest, a lot of alien shooters, which I love the most. This game is a survival horror obviously, in which players will assume the role of Lyra, who has decided to come back to this island where her band's story ended pretty tragically. There is a lot of survival elements in the game, such as limited resources, a minimap, an isometric view, and a lot of atmospheric tension. Fleshmade Fear is Tainted Pact's newest horror game inspired by the classic PSX era survival horror vibe, and that with a fresh twist. It's like a love letter to Resident Evil fans, bring in that same tense inventory management and eerie atmosphere, but with a unique camera system that blends old school fixed angles with a more modern player following style. You can play as two characters here, Jack or Natalie. Each have their own story and stats, and as part of this RIP task force, you're hunting down Victor, the Dripper Ripper, in a lab filled with all kinds of grotesque monsters. Anyway, here's how it looks. The game's coming out late 2025. Darklight Survivor is also shaping to be something pretty special if you're into roguelike survival games with a bit of everything thrown in. You're one of the last humans exploring this broken multiverse to find Elysium, and what's actually cool about this game is the ability to shift between top-down and third-person perspectives seamlessly, and it even switches between retro pixel art and a modern cinematic graphic. Customization is the key here. Everything from scopes to laser can be added to your weapons to survive this universe, plus the mix of different armor styles from across eras really make your character stand out. If you like top-down shooters like the Alien shooters, Demon Spore is one of the best games on the horizon for this year. It basically throws you into a lab disaster where a freak experiment's gone way wrong. Think 80s monster movies like The Blob, but in this case it's a viral mess of cells that's evolving into something truly horrifying. You play as a scientist that's trapped in a lab, trying to figure out how this organism behaves, while also using some wild experimental weapons like a Tesla coil to fight your way out. You can tackle it solo or grab up to 3 friends for co-op, making teamwork essential. This is how it looks. Coming up behind that at number 13, we have a solo developer's work, Undead Trail, which as you can see is an action shooter, almost a side-scroller, and not only that, it's a super gory horror game in nature too. This one's set in a haunted mansion, where you'll be dealing with regular zombies to massive giants and little abominations. Each encounter then will challenge your survival instincts, demanding quick reflexes to make it through. The game's coming to PC so far within 2025. You can even get involved into the development process by talking directly with the developer on Discord. Moving on to number 14, we've got CyberTaxi, Lunatic Nights, which basically drops you into this gritty, dark noir world where not only just driving fares, you're fighting your way through the streets to rescue your sister. I mean, the vibe is retro, pulling from 80s and 90s movies with a heavy emphasis on action-packed missions. Basically, it's just more than from getting point A to B. You've got to do things like finding a missing cat in an old church, smashing enemy cars and blasting thugs with plasma cannons. Yeah, it's that kind of thing. You can even step out of the cab for on-foot action, complete side missions, and fully customize your ride. If you're up for a chaotic fun in a dystopian city, this one's got your back.
Our promised land.
And last but not least, we've got Nested Lands, brand new game over here. It's a survival city builder where you're guiding villages through a plague-ravaged world, fending off bandits and just trying to survive. I mean, imagine trying to build a settlement while disease spreads, bandits raid, and you barely have enough resources to keep everyone alive. It's not exactly a walk in the park, right? What makes it unique is that it's a third-person game, so you'll actually control a character running around doing the dirty work. Plus, you can grab up to 4 friends and dive into the chaos together in co-op mode.
Peasants, find a way to survive in this dark place, or perish for good. Swords cut deep, but the plague cuts deeper than swords. We muster the courage to live another day. Lord, have mercy on us.